Hi folks, welcome back to the Horde. So it's about 11:45. It is Saturday, October 18th. It's about 59.9, 59. My battery is not fully charged, and 14.7 Celsius. Welcome to Saturday. It looks like it's gonna rain, and I really don't want to get that framing up for the metal roof shed over there and have it rain on the framing, which will make it twist all to hell before I could get the metal roofing on it, and I could get things straightened out. So I'm kind of on hold, and I just got this engine. You guys remember it from yesterday. You remember that there was a piece of metal in there. Turns out it's a piece of a puller. It looks like the jaw of a puller. They broke it while they were trying to pull the flywheel. So I figured I'd take a minute to go through the proper way of pulling a flywheel, and just so that one doesn't run into these problems again. This flywheel is on. It doesn't have the cage on it. The cage is got just those 4 bolts, right? I mean, first thing that goes on this thing is the recoil starter. So you take off the 4 bolts, recoil starter comes off. There's a cage on here. They took the cage off. You really don't need to take the cage off to get the flywheel off. I put this nut on here. Generally speaking, these nuts don't come off all that easy. Take 17 millimeters, and I just tapped it off with this. I know it's already loose, so the threads were really screwed up on this thing, so I'll talk about how I had to bring them back to life. Considering how badly wrecked they were, they really came back pretty good, and I'll show you that in a second. So you get the nut off. You buy one of these things. They sell these on eBay. They're like 20 to 25 bucks. Do yourself a favor. Do whoever's going to work on the engine after you do a favor. Buy one of these things. If you don't use one of these things, you have a tendency to screw up the flywheel, or you screw up the end of the shaft there. I have this all the way tightened in. Give me 1 second. I gotta remove it from that position. So you take this thing. See how you got threads here? You got threads on the inside of the flywheel. These are actually backwards. So when you think you're tight to turn the big nut in, you actually turn it in the direction of loosening it. Right? Fine threads. I have a tendency to put it in more or less as far as it'll go in. Then you tighten this thing in. What's going to happen is this is going to put pressure up against the bolt and pop it right off. I normally start out with trying to tighten it with a wrench. In this case, it did not work. So the old one-handed man, lefty, no less. So I mean, it comes off this easy. Right, automatically backs off, and she's off. I mean, that's how easy they come off. No banging, no craziness, that's simple. This was off, and I've since, to cut the threads and all, I had to kind of lubricate things. Let's see if I can't get it to focus. I'll show you guys. So I had to recut those. What I did was I first filed the mushroom off. I used the grinder a little bit for that also. Right, very gently made sure I got rid of the mushroom first. And then I used these files to cut the threads the best I could. And then very gently I put the bolt on it and worked it until it would grab and thread on. Even from that little removal, it seems that it might have mushroomed a little more again. That's why it's fighting me. But there she goes. So there we are. What's next with this thing? I'm thinking that what was wrong with this is it probably stopped running because the coil, the stator coil, went bad. We ohmed it before, and I showed you yesterday that it was coming in at about 2K when it should be around 200. So I think that's the problem. Also, given that they took the pulsar off of that, I'm thinking that it had some kind of electrical problem. It wasn't sparking. Well, the rain has begun, so I guess it was good that I didn't unwrap this whole mess and get started. I also need another few 2x4s. I guess I should run out and get them. Yeah, the rain has begun. I hope these things, they don't seem to be warping. I got the wood blocked up in a way that it won't warp. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go pick up another few 2x4s. Get that moving. So this is what I'm up to today. Basically, fighting the rain to some extent, trying to get things done around the rain. Anyway, folks, thank you for watching and commenting and subscribing. We'll see how much I can get done today. Hopefully something. I really hate being rained out. I guess what I could do, if I'm goofing off, I can probably put that tube in the back tire of this thing. That'll get this bike back to running. This bike has two problems. Obviously my son, we didn't put air in the tire, so he ended up ripping the valve off the tube. And the second thing is that front brake, after you use it, it drags. I mean, you can kind of pry it out again, but then you use it and it starts dragging again. So I got to look over the caliper. Probably needs to be replaced. All right, folks. Thank you for watching, commenting, subscribing. We'll catch you up on the next episode of The Horde. Till then, take care. Remember, keep your feet down, keep your head up, and enjoy all the days you get. Bye now.